This is Witch-based news for Friday the 20th of March 2026. I'm Commander Buur. In Elite Dangerous news this week, the Buckyball Racing Club is prison hopping all week, there's a new distant human outpost record holder, and there are signs that all is not well in the bubble. If you enjoy our videos, consider subscribing to the channel and remember to ding the little bell to make sure you see all our content and community posts. And if you'd like to help support our channel, links to our Patreon and everything else are in the description below. If you happen to be in the bubble for the next 10 days and are looking for something a little out of the ordinary to do, well, out of the ordinary for Elite Dangerous anyway, then the Buckyball Racing Club may have you covered. The latest event for the long-running community-driven racing loons, devised by Commander Arrow Route 66 and called Prison Circuit, tasks participants with carrying 1 ton of consumer technology through the rotating rings of no less than 4 nearby prison vessels. Once the rings of the prison megaships have been successfully navigated, the consumer tech must be taken back to the race's start position in the Ventura system. The clock will stop running when you touch down at the end of the run. As is usually the case for all things Buckyball, there are 2 classes of race, Regulation Cobra and Completely Unlimited, and as you'd expect, the race is open to absolutely anyone to participate. It's running right now and you just need to finish your run before the race ends in the early hours of Tuesday the 31st of March. You'll find full details for the race along with the rules and how to participate in the Buckyball forum post, which is linked in the description below this video. In January this year there was a community goal centred in the bubble to gather and deliver materials for the construction of a deep space facility associated with the Distant Worlds 3 player-led expedition, which at the time of recording is currently sitting at waypoint 8 of its intended route. In case you're not on the expedition and wonder just what waypoint 8 means in the grand scheme of the Distant Worlds 3 journey, it's a system called ROFU ZE-H D10-0. ROFU sounds like something baby fish learn as part of a self-defense course, but it is in fact now the home of a brand new shiny starport named Rainbow's End. Situated nearly 48,500 light years or so from Sol, Rainbow's End now has the distinct honour of being the single most distant permanently positioned outpost of humanity in the galaxy outside of player owned fleet carriers. The system is a long way from just about everything, and that everything includes the legendary Beagle Point on the opposite side of the galaxy from Sol. Beagle is itself over 65,000 light years from Sol, but even if you make it the paltry by comparison 48,500 light years to ROFU, you'd still have a journey of some 32,000 light years ahead of you to reach Beagle Point. To put some perspective into all of this, the respite and shelter of the Colonia bubble is around 46,500 light years from Beagle Point, and to reach ROFU from Colonia is around 39,500 light years. Everything on that side of the galaxy is just a really long way from everything else. You may remember in January we reported that the in-game Galnet news service had lit up with a rather unusual story about the viral video workout routine of an in-universe minor celebrity called William Big Bill Ventura. The Galnet piece describes Big Bill's physical transformation off the back of the regime as being lean, fit and strong, and Big Bill is describing himself as experiencing new motivation and increased energy levels. This week, a new linked piece has surfaced on Galnet referencing the spread of the same fitness and motivational trend that Ventura describes through a significant number of disparate and seemingly unconnected individuals in Alliance space. The article is also describing increased resilience and mental clarity in those same affected individuals. Similar psychological changes were also mentioned in an article discussing the effects of a compound produced from Radicoida unica that had been tested on laboratory mice, leading many, us included, to speculate that the reason the galaxy's superpowers were so infused with the prospect of gaining control of the mysterious new plant tree fungus thing was essentially an excuse in lore to introduce the concept of buffs and enhancements to on-foot gameplay as part of the upcoming operations update. There is also one other notable possibility that cannot be ignored. As I've mentioned, the article this week makes particular note that the viral trend they're reporting on is spreading in Allied space. We're assuming that phrase is referencing Alliance occupied space specifically. The original Big Bill Ventura article, whilst not stating where Big Bill resides, did mention his desire to go hiking through the forests of Lave, a system embedded deeply in Alliance-owned space, and in that same article Bill was interviewed by the Alliance Tribune. This week's article also quotes Orion University as one of its sources. I'll come back to that specific point in a moment. Toward the end of the Thargoid War, a number of citizens from across the then bubble were kidnapped by the Thargoids and held in a sort of suspended animation in Thargoid biological stasis pods. When those individuals were rescued, they were returned to their respective superpowers, Alliance, Imperial and Federation, and held in quarantine. The Federation and the Imperials have never released their citizens from quarantine. The imps in particular noted that there did appear to be minor physiological changes to the victims, almost imperceivable, but a change nonetheless. They even discussed the idea of euthanizing them just to play it safe. The Alliance, however, eventually released their Thargoid captured citizens back into the general population, perceiving no threat. Those individuals remain in circulation throughout the Alliance to this day. I said I'd return to that point about Orion University. There are three big academic institutions that present throughout Elite Dangerous lore: the Federation's Olympus Village University, the Empire's Imperial Science Academy, and the Alliance Orion University. Whatever this phenomena is, it definitely seems to have its roots in the Alliance. Of that, there seems to be little doubt. If the spread of the Ventura phenomena is unrelated to the released Alliance Thargoid detainees, then the fact that it's only, so far at least, affecting Alliance citizens is a huge coincidence. But we are dealing with a largely unknown and little understood biochemical compound. We know Thargoids are insect-like in nature, and that the individuals we've seen and heard of in lore are likely drones in a hive-like hierarchical structure. Some sort of centrally administered hive mind is also suspected. Sojin A, who escaped from the experimental clutches of Caleb Salvation Wycherley, can hear and even, we suspect, understand Thargoid communication, which appears to be, for want of a better expression at this point, somewhat akin to telepathy. The strength, fitness, energy and resilience improvements that Ventura phenomena individuals are reporting is interesting, but I do think of particular interest are the comments around reduced thinking time, clarity, motivation, sharper focus and better emotional well-being. These are soft psychological traits, and it's difficult to see how they might translate into tangible gameplay mechanics for a player-controlled character, particularly in a multiplayer environment. In an NPC, however, when read in the right light, all of this can lead you down a path that goes to the fabled Thargoid zombies, Although in this context, with everything that is being described, if this is Thargoid in nature, I think sleeper agents might be a better, more accurate description. A literal legion of resilient, humanoid, Thargoid controlled super soldiers waiting to be turned, already embedded and walking amongst us. Not everything that came out of the Thargoid war was, of course, negative. Supercruise Overcharge, for example, is back-engineered Thargoid tech from Titan motherships. But if the Ventura phenomena is related to the Thargoids or Radicoida Unica, or indeed both, then any potential positive effects are yet to be proven, let alone understood. Will you be racing to prison with Buckyball this week? Are you planning on visiting the Rainbow's End? Or do you think the Alliance have infested human space with Thargoid sleeper agents? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back later this week with more videos. Until then, 07 Commanders, follow the greens on the way out and do keep clear of the toast rack. We very much look forward to seeing you next time.